All right. So if you guys aren't familiar with Cruel World, Happy Lies or Happy Mind, basically what she made a video about Ethan Klein, a very terrible video. And yeah, she got a lot of hate. It's one of those things where it's like, how in the world do you mess up hating on somebody that literally has an entire Reddit built to be hated on? Like, so many people went after him. So many people have turned around and said so many egregious lies about him. Whew, that was good. So many egregious lies about him, and she thought it was going to be a slam dunk victory. She thought that, oh, she's just going to make this video, everyone's going to hate him, everyone's going to love her. But no, what ended up happening? Oh shit! What ended up? No! Before I die, what ended up? Oh. What ended up happening is, in fact, most people did not like the video. It's 3 hours long. I have it at 1.25. So we're in this for the long haul, y'all.
Keep it up. Proud of you.
Ethan was studying English literature at the University of California, and suddenly he began experiencing intense waves of crushing anxiety.
Right before I went off to college, I started having really severe panic attacks. I was pretty sure that I was losing my mind. I wouldn't sleep for days on end.
My problem was like circular thinking. I could not stop thinking. And if it was one thing that was bothering me, something that so doesn't matter, I would obsess over. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't help myself.
Ethan also has Tourette's. Tourette's is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's characterized by repetitive, involuntary, sudden movements, or vocal.
And the worst part about this, right, about him having Tourette's, not just the fact that he has it, is that most people have turned around and been like, oh, well, he doesn't actually have Tourette's. He's just on crack. Like, it's been used against him so much. And I can't, I've never had Tourette's. I've never been like diagnosed with anything like that, but I can imagine just how daunting it might be to have a dedicated hate following that is saying that you're this, you know, as a dad of two, you're this freaking crackhead, and your just inability to actually be able to do anything about, you know, your tics. And like, even Asmongold was like, oh, you know, nothing against Ethan, but if I had those tics, I wouldn't be like live streaming my face. Like, dude, what do you mean you wouldn't be live stream? Is he supposed to just like hide? Is he supposed to hide who he is? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's embarrassing at some points in time, but bro, like, he can't help it. He literally has a neurological condition. Like, what? He's just supposed to basically be a gremlin in the basement because of it?
Realizations, which are called tics.
You know, with Tourette's, I've always kind of like buried my head in the sand. I know I have it, but since I was a kid, the more I thought about it, the worse it was. So my strategy of dealing with it was always kind of just to like forget that I have it or try not to think about it.
Ethan has spoken openly and publicly about his Tourette's. There's a study that says that 86% of those diagnosed with Tourette's will be diagnosed with a second psychiatric disorder during their lifetime. Nearly 58% will receive 2 or more such diagnoses, according to a study led by researchers from UC San Francisco and Massachusetts General Hospital.
So you have OCD and Tourette's.
Yeah, Tourette's is like related to OCD.
And overeating.
Anything else?
So Ethan was experiencing generalized anxiety disorder throughout college.
I was super anxious and super depressed, like generalized anxiety disorder. Like I was crippled by it, and I had a hard time socializing with people at the time because I was just so anxious in my head all the time. It was probably the worst time of my life.
Many experience anxiety in school. The constant social interactions, stress, pressure, deadlines, all of that seemed to make school a breeding ground for anxiety. Ethan's anxiety became so bad he was desperate to get away from his environment, which led to him taking a trip to Israel in 2007 when he was 22 years old as part of the Birthright program, which offers to fund 10-day trips to Israel for people of Jewish heritage. Ethan Klein's family is Ashkenazi Jewish.
And I was already planning to do this Birthright trip for like half a year already, but I was so messed up in my head that I honestly didn't want to go, and I thought about canceling it.
The trip Ethan took is officially part of a program called Taglight Birthright Israel, which offers free educational trips to Israel for young Jewish adults worldwide. Some claim that
I'm assuming that this is like a buildup to like his belief and like how strong he was about it and all that. Like, I'm not exactly sure. I guess maybe it's just contextualized information, because we all know that he went there. I don't really think we need to know why he went there, or the fact that he went there on like some sort of scholarship or not scholarship, some sort of like program. I'm not like sure exactly what matters on that. Is it to try and show that maybe he was privileged?
that Birthright functions as a soft power or a public diplomacy project for the Israeli government. Some controversy also revolves around where the money comes to fund these Birthright trips and whether
Okay, there it is. There it is. Some controversy comes to where it was funded or how it got funded. I was right. I was right. Oh my God. That's just, that's pathetic.
Whether the major donors influence the messaging or the itinerary.
There's rich Jews in Europe, UK, Canada, US, who give tons of cash, tons of money to the state of Israel for the purpose of bringing young Jews on this trip to Israel to connect with their Jewish heritage. It's like the most glorified version of JewDate.net. And they handpick these beautiful Israeli soldiers. They bring over all these young American kids, and they're like, it's kind of a strange thing. This you need to be Jewish because it is very Zionistic. It's very like racial.
While visiting Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem, Ethan noticed Ela Hackman.
Well, like I said, me and Ela's life has been pretty bizarre, and the way we met is no exception. Because me and Ela met at the Holocaust Museum.
It seems like meeting Ela was the cure to Ethan.
Okay, that I did not know. I did not know they met at the Holocaust Museum. Now that's a little odd. I'm not gonna lie. That is incredibly odd. But hey, you know what? You meet some people in the weirdest of places, so I can't really be, I can't really say anything.
Troubles. One would assume Ethan associated his birthright trip, traveling to Israel, meeting the love of his life, Ela, as integral to saving his life.
But the choice to go to Israel, despite my overwhelming desire to stay at home and feel safe, is what led me to the path of recovery. Because when I met Ela, everything in my life started to get better.
Ela Hackman was born in Tel Aviv, Israel, on December 12, 1987. She was raised in Holland. At the time of meeting Ethan, Ela was serving in the Israel Defense Forces, otherwise known as the IDF. Women in Israel are required to serve in the Israel Defense Forces. Under the security
Oh, here we go. Here we go. She could have been a conscientious objector. That's what I'm assuming is this is going to go. You don't know a whole lot about this dude, but I'm learning a lot. I hear his name everywhere. Yeah, Andre, like he's huge. Like he has rebuilt his entire, like, I guess you could call empire or, his reputation multiple times, from Frenemies ending to Leftovers ending to now this whole situation. Don't get me wrong, Ethan has definitely had some doozies where he was in the wrong, and there was a good period of time where he was incredibly like woke, and it, in my personal opinion, ruined his content for me. I never was an avid watcher of him, but I most certainly did like some of his some of the content he did that was funny, like the whole Vape Nation stuff and whatnot. But this man has been through a lot. I'll give him that.
Security Service Law of 1949, which made mandatory service required for all people in Israel.
I was in the army in Israel because it's mandatory. It was in a base next to Jerusalem in Ramallah.
So Ramallah, if you guys don't know, is like one of the most dangerous cities in Jerusalem. It's just like a ton of terrorists there.
Yeah.
You take the wrong street down Ramallah, boy, it'd be your last.
The standard length of service for a woman is around 2 years, whereas men serve 32 months, 2 years and 8 months. While some will resist joining the service and have to face jail time, others will enjoy their time in service and do.
Okay, are you serious? Dude, the implication there, the freaking some will resist and go to jail like a good Jew, but others will enjoy, or like a good Israeli, but others, they just enjoy genocide. They love going around killing people, innocent people. Come on, dude. Like, you're not wrong. Yes, obviously there's people who are going to enjoy it, but the simple fact that she's like saying this in the context around Ela is insane. Now, I served in the Marine Corps, okay? I enjoyed my time, but it was very much a love-hate relationship. And we obviously have had conscientious objectors here, right? God damn it, this stupid spider needs to go the fuck away so I can get my supply drop. But obviously the implication here is that she could have, turned around and decided to just go to jail rather than actually doing this ride along and being in this service. But to follow that up with, but some people will enjoy it. Come on.
Do extra unregulated work, as Ela commented on a raid she participated in while she was in the IDF. These raids are not exactly regulated by the book.
You told me once you went on like a mission with them to like a terrorist city.
They would go every night on a raid. One time I wanted to go with them just to experience it.
Did they arrest anyone that night?
They did.
Did they bring it in the same car with you?
No. It actually looked like a nice city.
That's, I mean, from their perspective, well, it's so complicated.
Yeah.
From their perspective, it's like, these guys.
At the time of meeting Ethan, Ela was on a break from service. Despite all of his anxiety, Ethan decided he would approach Ela, and the two immediately clicked.
There's this girl that is flipping tall and beautiful, and she's got these huge blue eyes, and I was like, what?
After his birthright trip was up, Ethan had to return home to the United States. However, him and Hila remained in touch, and the two spoke over Skype. Hila was very shy, but claims in an interview with Insider that meeting Ethan helped her open up. I was such a shy person that I would barely speak in a group setting or open up at all. When I met Ethan, he really pushed me in ways that were so healthy for my personal growth. He made me more open and confident, and he would always just compliment me or push me to do whatever it was that I was inspired to do. Hila also claimed that she helped Ethan pick his battles, even if it didn't always work. I get him to be a little more responsible maybe, or think twice. It doesn't always help. He's going to do what he's going to do, but I do think we both influence each other. By 2009, Hila traveled to the US to live with Ethan. After living with Ethan for a year, her visa expired and she moved back to Israel.
So you go back, you see her just via Skype, email and stuff. When do you actually physically see each other again?
It was a while.
After
Hila
a
had a
year.
boyfriend.
A year?
I came here for 2 months and I went back, and then another year.
Damn.
Yeah, I was persistent, man. Because a guy like me,
Okay, this is like complete unnecessary information. I'm just skip a little bit ahead here because it's like she's going through their entire freaking life.
Hey, get a job!
what is that? Why is it in 4x3? How did you achieve this interesting wave effect, Hila?
This was also when the YouTube channel H3H3 Productions was created on April 30th, 2011. The name H3H3 is often translated as he, but the name came from the two initials, Ethan Edward Klein and Hila Hackman. While the channel gained popularity due to the Kleins' reaction commentary and satirical comedy sketches, Ethan first used the platform to upload short comedic sketches with no real direction, which I think most YouTubers do when they first start creating content.
Cover all 9,000 taste bud. Aerate it. Warm it up.
Ethan just
Yes, that used to get you thousands of views. That content right there used to get you thousands of freaking views on the internet, mind you. Now we have people who basically are making like movie Avengers level movies in an effort to just get a handful of views.
described this period of his YouTube career as unwatchable.
There was no expectation at all. It was very much, I mean, our early videos are so off the wall, dude, like unwatchable. So I'm not surprised at all that nobody watched them for that long.
Ethan and Hila married in 2012. In the early years,
Listen, if you're ever going to be a creator, just know you're going to cringe at your own content at some point in time, okay? You're going to. I have done, I've looked back on some of our old after show stuff. I can promise you, there's been plenty of freaking times I've looked back and I was like, this is not it, son. This is not it.
of their YouTube career, they're living together in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Welcome to the fucking shithole neighborhood known as Florentine in Israel. And this is where me and Hila,
Our first apartment
we ever had together in the whole world was here in this neighborhood. In my opinion, this looks more like India than fucking, you can't even tell, this street doesn't even look that bad with all the fucking like wires and shit. We had like cockroaches, we had mice.
Yet Ethan, surprisingly during this time, exhibited his own version of anti-Semitism on the people living in Israel. Though now Ethan is the first to claim that others are anti-Semites, in the past it seems Ethan would often say blatantly offensive things, yet he believed them to just be a joke.
You take these guys a little bit more seriously. Like these.
Well, yeah, because that's what happens. You grow older, you learn, hey, this isn't okay. There's jokes that freaking full, comedians who have been doing it for 20 something plus years, they end up learning that, hey, you know what? It was a time, there was a time and a place for everything. Some people mess up, but at the same time, it's like, I don't really think you should be apologetic because it's comedy. Comedy is subjective. And it has everything to do with like time. No matter what, everything has to do with time. It has to do with the nature of the beast, right? As things go on, some things aren't funny, some things are. Would a 9/11 joke be hilarious on September 12th? No. September 12th, 2001? No. But how many people freaking make jokes about it right now and people laugh? Like whatever, dude. Whatever. I hate her. I hate her so much. And the reason that I hate her the most is because it's like you're going around and being like, oh my gosh, this is what other people say. This is what other people say. They think that, it could be bad at this time or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, tell us what you think. Hey, what's up, Sunshinery? And it's like, tell us what you think. What is it that you think? Don't tell us what other people think. Tell us your opinion.
These fucking double curls.
Yeah, that is disgusting. But also, come on, wearing the full suit in the summer. But they stink the whole place. Where everyone?
Stink suit. Here we got one driving a car. We'll get some good footage, hopefully, of these goofy ass rat tail motherfuckers. The home of the Jew, the Jewy Jew. This is home of the super Jew, the dirty, grimy, jacket wearing Jews.
No, this is a poor
Ethan
taste
uploaded
joke that
reaction
he's
content with his
making.
own unique style, alongside Hila's occasional commentary.
63 drill.
Man, I love that pen and the cap. Look, it's so casual and like sexy. Does it work on me, Hila? How do I look?
Pretty hot, actually.
You do the introduce yourself thing.
You just tell them a compliment, you know, you do the introduce yourself thing. I mean, look, guys, it doesn't really matter what you say to these brainless creatures, okay? Why aren't we fucking men, by the way? I want to.
This is so obviously a joke, and you're trying to paint it as him being like 100% anti-Semitic. It's a joke. Like, is it in poor taste? Absolutely sure. It doesn't go with the current climate, the current political climate. No, but it's a joke. It's a freaking joke. It's obvious it's a joke.
Dudes, I'm gay and I want to fuck dudes.
Come here.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely Ethan making fun of gay people right there. Come on.
Oh, 2 million.
The reaction style content became a huge success. This could have been due to the fact that at the time, in 2014, obnoxious, low-effort YouTube channels like Prank Invasion and SoFlo Antonio were receiving millions of views. Audiences needed a place to vent their frustration. H3H3 initially provided a community where audiences could essentially laugh at these creators, as Ethan sort of rightfully called them out for their preposterousness.
SoFlo is a unique case, and he is beloved by all.
And see, this is what people loved about him, right? This is the fact that he was like, this is also why people got upset with him too, is that he went from being the guy who would make fun of these other creators like Leafy or FouseyTube or something like that, and basically would like expose them for being pieces of shit. And then he turns around and goes like uber mega woke. And then, and it's like, bro, you were literally doing the same content, but I'm glad that he's, gotten out of that. He's no longer that guy. He's back. He's back to kicking ass and taking names.
Elvis for such a great reason, and that's being that he puts himself in the videos he steals to somehow make it more like his brand.
Watch this really closely.
25 million views, 0 credits given.
This is me when she says she likes guys that play instruments.
11 million views, 0 credits given.
The viral video Vape Nation could be seen as the marker for H3's success. Dressing up as a typical vapor with psychedelic glasses, a marijuana-patterned headscarf, and a socks with sandals combo, Ethan Klein interacted with various members in New York City without breaking character. The persona that Ethan adopted for the video became an established meme. You almost wonder if it was sort of the genesis of the street interview, street prank videos that we see today all over social media. Because of the massive virality of Vape Nation, H3H3 Productions reached a new level of fame. Today, the video has over 28 million views, and it remains their most popular video to date. But ultimately, why did H3 gain a massive audience? What made the channel so likable? I think this quote from an article on Medium describes the phenomenon of the H3H3 success pretty well. When Ethan and Hila started H3H3 Productions.
Okay, this woman is talking way too slow for me. We're going 1.5 people. Remember, this is a 3-hour video.
Back in 2011, they weren't chasing fame or influence. They were just awkward, funny people, making content that felt raw and real. Ethan's unfiltered rants, weird sketches, and hilarious reactions felt like the antidote to influencer culture, a breath of fresh air in an increasingly fake digital world. People loved them because they were authentic. They were awkward and messy, and they didn't try to hide it. Hila's quiet humor balanced Ethan's chaotic energy, and together, they felt like the internet's best friend. They laughed at the absurdity of online trends. They called out shady influencers. They made videos that felt like sitting on the couch with your funniest, weirdest friends. The Kleins created a second channel titled Ethan and Hila. On this channel, they posted in a sort of vlog-style format.
We're gonna put 20 bucks in here, and if we don't win, I'm gonna be in big trouble. This is our last 20, so I really need us to win now.
In April
Hey,
2015,
what's up,
the
Ivy
Klein
C?
family moved to the United States. Initially, they
How you
chose Los
doing?
Angeles, moving briefly to New York
Listening and eating Chinese food. Oh, you're so lucky. I love me some Chinese. What'd you get?
City, and then choosing to move back to LA only a year later. By February of 2016, H3H3 Productions reached 1 million subscribers. And only 6 months later, H3H3 passed the 2 million subscriber mark.
Welcome to Papa's house.
Welcome.
Today I come to you bearing great news, my friends. We have hit 2 million subscribers.
Oh, man. Then H3 hit 3 million in December of that year. However, by 2016, Ethan and Hila felt the need to change gears. More and more reaction-style content creators were flooding the scene. On top of that, the amount of creators who were doing cringeworthy things were sort of running dry. At least you would think, though reaction-style content sort of made...
The amount of creators making cringy content has never ran dry, okay?
a resurgence later on. On top of that, creators like H3H3 had such a diehard following at the time that when they reacted to someone online, their fan base flooded that creator's comment section and sometimes drove them off the platform entirely.
Creators.
We felt like
it's a lot to cover, so I needed something to keep me busy, so I didn't just completely burn out.
H3 was dying. It was stale. People weren't happy. It wasn't growing. We almost completely stopped posting on H3 and worked on Ethan and Hila for like 2 or 3 months.
So towards the end of 2016, the couple started experimenting with live streaming on Twitch, which later evolved into the format the H3 podcast. I also want to note here, something that's not often talked about is some of the reasons why a ton of very successful YouTubers
Well, I
will
hope you
often turn
enjoy,
to podcasting.
Jez.
Even if a
Make sure
successful
to have
YouTuber's
everybody make sure you got drinks and snacks ready.
podcasts don't get as many views as some of their very successful YouTube video formats. Podcasts make a significantly more amount of revenue than the YouTube videos that creator does. And for the sake of time, I'll just explain it really briefly. This is because through podcasting, a creator can put multiple ads in a single video. I mean, my normal videos are about a podcast length and I only do one sponsorship, but through a podcast, you can have like 5 ads throughout and put platform ad revenue in as well, essentially 5xing your ad revenue. On top of that though, podcasting sponsorships pay significantly more, at least from what I've been told. So switching to podcasting is often seen as a very strategic business move. I personally was always confused why content creators would switch to a podcast. So if you're like me, now you know. The first episode of the H3 podcast was uploaded on April 3rd, 2017, featuring
Well, a podcast style is also the thing that a podcast style is also this, like it's easier to, some people are just better in like an environment, right? They're better in a multi-person environment, like Wings of Redemption. Wings streaming on his own. He isn't I don't want to say he's not the most entertaining because people will find him entertaining, but he definitely plays it up and he does way more interesting things. When he was on LolCow, he was funnier. He was more jovial. He was all this, that, and the third. So it's easy to be able to work with somebody that you click with and that you're able to actually like get some extra content out. When it's just you, it's a lot more daunting, especially if you don't have like a group of people to do a docket for you or anything like that. But it does make you a better content creator, in my personal opinion. Eggs, hash brown, cheese, sausage, bacon bowl with fluffy pancakes. Ooh, yummy, Andrea.
Justin Roiland.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the H3 podcast. We're so happy to have you here, and we're so excited to bring the show to you guys. Today, we have a very special first guest, Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty, and a very close personal friend of ours. Guys, let's jump right in.
Hey, yo, justice for Justin Roiland. Justice for Justin Roiland. Sweet and sour chicken with some pork fried rice. Ooh, nice. Got food cooking, but do have a tea. Ugh, what type of tea? I'm not a tea fan.
But the H3 podcast didn't just interview Ethan's famous friends. They also spoke with Ethan's famous influencer friends, which was, at the time, different from other podcasts. This means that the H3 podcast filled a void in the budding podcasting space. Most podcasts that had an interview format sought out traditional celebrities to interview. They didn't really take content creators seriously, despite their ever-increasing influence at the time.
Joined with us today is Markiplier, the legend.
I don't know about that one.
You are kind of a legend on YouTube, my friend. And with us as well is Ian from Smosh, another legend. Titans of the industry. Titans, the most important
How are you
people on
feeling? How are you
YouTube.
feeling about all this like praise? I don't know, man.
But early on, the H3 podcast provided
Wait. Hold on.
celebrities to interview. They didn't really take content creators seriously, despite their ever-increasing influence at the time.
Joined with us today is Markiplier.
Okay, you say they didn't take it. Hold on. Who didn't take it? Are you talking about famous celebrities?
They also spoke with Ethan's famous influencer friends, which was, at the time, different from other podcasts. This means that the H3 podcast filled a void in the budding podcasting space. Most podcasts that had an interview format sought out traditional celebrities to interview. They didn't really take content creators seriously, despite their ever-increasing influence at the time.
Okay, yes, I agree with that, yes.
Joined with us today is Markiplier, the legend.
I don't know about that one.
You are kind of a legend on YouTube, my friend. And with us as well is Ian from Smosh, another legend. Titans of the industry. Titans, the most important
How are you
people on
feeling? How are you
YouTube.
feeling about all this like praise? I don't know, man.
But early on, the H3 podcast provided a space where some of the biggest internet personalities could come onto the show and tell their story. For example, the content creator PewDiePie often makes gaming videos, but going on to the H3 podcast, he told a behind-the-scenes story of his life, the complexities of fame.
All right, we're skipping to the
And career was a new
controversies. I'm
career for
bored
many,
at this
so it was
point.
ripe for grifters and people who took advantage of the unknown laws. Ethan called out CSGO on a video uploaded on July 4th, 2016, titled Deception, Lies, and CSGO.
Those of you out there who know us best know that we here at H3 Productions are all about blasting ads. Today we're talking about CSGO gambling, which is really something that's taken the internet by storm these past couple of years.
In the video, Ethan spoke about how 2 popular gaming YouTubers were operating an illegal gambling operation through the game Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
When you compare opening a crate in CSGO, it looks almost identical to an online slot machine. Tons of CSGO gambling sites have propped up. I'm going to be focusing on 2 extremely popular YouTubers by the name of Pro Syndicate and T Martin. They have videos titled...
This was huge back in the day. So if you guys don't know this was absolutely massive. That this was one of the first times where big content creators had actually been called out for basically scamming their audience. It's basically the same amount of like exposés that now happen with like Stake, where they were getting free spins on CSGO. They were getting free skins. They were getting free, like it was being given to them, but they were pretending like, oh, you know, it was just random. And whereas CSGO was making sure that they were getting the actual, like the best of the best content. And an effort to sell it to their audience, whom they did not disclose that they had an actual investment in CSGO Lotto. So a lot of people got upset about that. They had to come out, and this is where we got the famous this is where we got the famous T Martin apology video with his dog. Oh man. Suso, I wasn't as late as I thought. No, Neon, no. All we did was cover the gray stuff very first, and now we're here on this one.
Such as how to win $13,000 in 5 minutes with CSGO betting.
Now, if that title doesn't sound just like a get-rich-quick scheme, then I'm the Pope.
Like, are you creating entertainment, or are you trying to get kids to gamble?
Ethan exposed to light how, in reality, while the two YouTubers were creating content about playing the game and virtually gambling on the site, the entire time the two YouTubers were founders of the essentially gambling site CSGO Lotto, which allows players to gamble using in-game items.
They own this site.
Yep.
Now, why is this shady? Because if they own the site, they have access to the back end of the website. They can control the outcome of every bet. They can fake the results to make promoting videos.
Following the release of Ethan Klein's video, which was in collaboration with the YouTuber Honor the Call, Polygon reported that a lawsuit was filed against Valve, one of the creators of CSGO. This lawsuit was filed by a player. This player accused the developers of allowing an online gambling market to develop within the game.
Now, this is when it gets really interesting. People have created a class action lawsuit against Valve, suing them for helping these gambling sites. So what this lawsuit alleges is that Valve knowingly allowed, supported, and or sponsored illegal gambling by allowing millions of Americans to link their individual Steam accounts to third-party websites. And they had this premonition like, this is an unregulated gambling market.
And CSGO Lotto was shut down soon after. A year later, Polygon reported that the Federal Trade Commission, as part of a settlement, demanded that the two be more transparent about their business ties moving forward. The fact that Ethan was involved in calling out creators who were conducting a shady online scheme that ended up in the FTC getting involved is pretty big news and pretty monumental when it comes to influencers and their online businesses. And from there, not only did it seem like Ethan continued advocating for online content creation, but for the right of audiences, the well-being of online content creation without bad actors' involvement. In 2016, H3H3 posted a reaction video reacting to a guy named Matt Haas, a YouTuber who posted comedic skits on his channel Matt Haas Zone, often containing his bold guy persona. The reaction video posted to the H3H3 Productions channel was titled The Big, the Bold, the Beautiful.
You have excellent form.
What are you, some sort of creep?
I don't know, lady. You're just spreading open your asshole on a sidewalk. I'm not sure you're in a position to be calling people creeps.
What I love about his videos is that he set up that situation.
Yeah, the blame really is on Matt.
This is his script.
The H3H3 video received millions of views. It's safe to say Matt Haas did not like that. Matt tried claiming that the reaction video was a re-upload of his content and that he was entitled to the legal earnings from the video.
What happens when he catches her? Does he have to like tackle her?
He does whatever he wants.
On May 25th of 2016, the couple uploaded a video addressing the lawsuit that Matt levied against them.
Yes, we are being sued for copyright infringement.
And this is what brought out the, this is what ended up having the FUPA fund, where a lot of people, including Keemstar, tried to accuse the Kleins of stealing money. And Keemstar went as far as to say that he stole like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from his audience, which was just completely untrue. And he went ahead and walked it back as well.
It's been hanging over our lives like a cloud these past months.
Yeah.
We are being sued by Bold Guy, aka Matt Haas Zone. He doesn't like that we made fun of him, and so he's suing us. You know, you don't know what the jury's going to say, and if they rule against us, we stand not only to lose a ton of money, but literally everything we've built our whole career.
Due to this early incident, Ethan and Hila appeared to be champions of fair use and reaction style content. An entire
Not even appeared to be. They were champions of fair use. They won the lawsuit. They literally won the lawsuit. They were What do you mean appears to be? See, this is what I hate, okay? If you're going to be a content creator, do not be such a fence rider to where you turn around and everything is allegedly appears to be, possibly, maybe, you know? Don't be that. Don't get cucked by your freaking audience. And this is why I say you should never be audience captured. I absolutely hate people that are, because then you never hear their actual take on anything. It's always, well, this is what the internet is saying. Well, this is what people think. Well, it's like, that's fantastic. What is it exactly that you think? Tell us your opinion. And when something is so factual as to freaking the Kleins literally championing, you know, fair use by winning this lawsuit and setting a precedence for React channels, there is no, oh, well, this is possibly what happened. This is what they looked like. No, this is what they were. Jesus Christ. What's up, Neon? Yes, please, if you could, like the stream.
Our community came together to support them in their cause for fair use in its early days and interpretations, which influenced how audiences and creators interpret fair use and reaction style content to this day. Ethan and Hila even got assistance from other creators.
Yes, so then don't say apparently. Don't say that they were apparently, or that they looked like, or that they were possibly freaking champions of fair use. They literally won the lawsuit, which helped reactors going forward.
Like Ryan Morrison, the video game attorney, and Michael Lee, two lawyers turned content creators.
And he says, remove it, never talk about me again or this situation and pay me $4,000. We could pay you $4,000, but like, what's the precedent that like anytime we make fun of someone, they could just write us a note from a lawyer and demand $4,000? It's like,
exactly.
This whole thing has always been bigger than us.
Midway through the negotiations, Matt had the big, the bold, the beautiful video copyright strike, even though H3H3 already made the video private.
While we were in negotiations for everything, he, on our private video that was already removed, I guess he still had the URL, and he did a strike, he did a takedown on our video when we were in good faith negotiations just because he wanted us.
Copyright strikes are very bad for creators and come with immediate penalties and long-term risks. But Matt didn't stop there. On April 27th, 2016, Matt
If you get 3 copyright strikes, you're done. You can never make another, you can never own another YouTube video again or YouTube channel again, because it's literally a 3-strike rule. And it's the same reason why Keemstar, when he got banned off of YouTube, he wasn't allowed to own any channel, even though he was made a manager of some channels. And then eventually that, you know, got worked out.
Matt Haas filed a first amended complaint and jury demand to the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York, where the Kleins lived at the time.
Most of what you've read and heard about the lawsuit has been full of lies and misinformation. And the reason I've been silent until now is because I don't want to compromise my case.
The filing claimed that the original work, Matt's video, comprised the majority of the infringing work, the H3H3 video. In reality, Ethan and Ela Klein appeared in 80% of their video.
The infringing video features the defendants purporting to discuss the work in what they believe to be a humorous manner, but in fact reproduces virtually all of the work as nothing more than a prop in the defendant's comedy routine. The video was 14 minutes. We counted it, and the parts that we used Matt's was approximately 3 minutes.
The filing demanded earnings from the H3H3 Patreon and threatened to sue YouTube if they removed the copyright strike. On May 25th, YouTuber Philip DeFranco created a GoFundMe page titled Help for H3H3. This GoFundMe page raised over $170,000 to help the Kleins with their legal fees. On May 26, 2026, H3H3 posted a video titled A New Chapter for Fair Use on YouTube. The Kleins announced the Fair Use Protection account, or the FUPA account. They claimed that this account will be used only for the purpose of protecting fair use. The Kleins vowed to join the fight against fair use protection on YouTube. They donated $5,000 of their own money.
We will be its first client. And that's why we decided to donate $5,000 of our own money. So we will be the first client of this account that will be known as the Fair Use Protection account, also known as FUPA. The FUPA shall protect all of us. Thank you guys for helping out net the FUPA and making it voluptuous and big and powerful like we always knew that it was. If anyone out there thinks that they have a legitimate fair use claim and are being bullied, email fupa@morrisonlee.com. We've got a lawyer, a community that's
And they helped out other creators with this, like with the money that was accumulated within the FUPA account, not just themselves too.
It's there to stand up and help protect fair use. Thanks to your guys' contributions.
I was thinking when initially hearing about the FUPA account that so many creators, especially small creators, would greatly benefit from a fund like that, especially having legal assistance.
Small creators did benefit. Like that's literally like they did. Like it's not, oh, they could, they literally did. I don't know what you were trying to imply here, as if he didn't help out other people, especially winning the lawsuit helped with precedents. Like, okay.
In complicated matters like copyright strikes and navigating these complicated issues. When I first started out, I got a random cease and desist in the mail from Russell Hartley that I had no idea what to do with. I've gotten copyright claims.
Well, if the video you made about that person was anything like this video here, I can understand why.
Like 13 on my Tana Mojo video that were extremely complicated to remove, and have had very helpful friends that have given me advice. But to have something like the FUPA fund where you could go to and have assistance if you're a small creator, scared and have no idea what to do, would be extremely helpful. So I was looking into whether the FUPA fund was still in existence. But the FUPA fund dissolved and is no longer in use. A big reason for the FUPA fund's dissolution is that the Kleins use the FUPA fund for their own legal fees, as well as
Bro, it's okay. It was literally created for them to use. Yes, other creators. Oof, I'm going to have to get more endurance. But yes, it was created for other creators, but primarily it was literally made and founded for them, for their freaking lawsuit. Now, they overestimated how much money it was going to take for them to, like, you know, win this lawsuit. Yeah, absolutely. It dissolved after a while. That's kind of what happens. But just because it's no longer around doesn't mean it's anything bad. What are they supposed to just constantly be putting an influx of money in it? Are they supposed to be just constantly donating their own money and basically have an open retainer for everybody on YouTube to utilize? They're not the only people who had the ability to donate to it. Other people chose not to do it after the lawsuit. It's kind of the way the world works here. It was created for a specific purpose. It served its purpose, and now it's no longer around.
Several $1,000s out of pocket to fight the legal battle against Matt Haas. While it is often the case that legal fees can add up and become more than you'd ever initially expect, well, the fact that the Kleins closed the FUPA fund after spending the money on their own legal fees instead of keeping it open.
It wasn't just their own legal fees, though. They spent it on other people, on other creators. They helped out other creators with it. Why are you being so disingenuous with this? Why are you making it sound like they just took the money and ran like a freaking crypto scheme? or scam. This isn't how it happened.
Maybe replenishing the fund once they're able to, so that other creators could have used it. Well, that's a
And other creators knew about it. You literally just talked about how freaking Philip DeFranco went ahead and was turning around and talking about it. Why aren't you going after Philly D? Huh? Why aren't you saying, well, Philly D, he helped them, he donated and all this. It's up to Philly D to also be putting it in. Oh, we got freaking all these other massive creators at the time. They should have been doing it, but no, it's up to the Kleins and the Kleins alone to continue to fund this thing.
It's a little disappointing. This move received criticism from many, like Keemstar, who suggested that the Kleins scammed their audience. This, in turn, made Keemstar into an enemy of Ethan Klein. In the end,
No. What made him an enemy of Ethan Klein is the fact that he lied about what happened. He lied about them stealing thousands, hundreds, if not, or tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from his freaking fan base over the Payday 3 shit. That's what happened. It had nothing to, oh my God.
Ethan and Hila Klein won their lawsuit, with U.S. District Judge Catherine.
This is why you shouldn't make videos on content or on like a drama or on a situation that you know absolutely nothing about. This is exactly like the off-air, no script, whatever loser who made the freaking Rise and Fall video of Lolcow Live. This is the content you create when all you do is get freaking cliff notes from Reddit. This is what happens. You have an uneducated freaking 3.5 hour long video that's literally just saying absolutely nothing.
From B. Forrest ruling that their commentary video constituted fair use as a matter of law and describing it as quintessential comment and criticism.
I swear to God, it felt like this would never happen. Man, now I'm so happy we did it, because this is a landmark case, not just for us, but seriously, the wording that the judge put into the opinion is going to strengthen fair use across YouTube.
This wasn't just a landmark case for YouTube. This was a landmark case for Ethan and Hila Klein's career, for their brand. So many creators came together to support Ethan and Hila when every
Oh yeah, but let's not talk about those creators. Let's not, give them shit for not funding the damn FUPA fund.
Thing was almost taken from them. Yet a pattern was beginning to emerge when it came to Ethan Klein. He always expected others to be there for him at his lowest moments.
Oh my God, are you serious? That's what we're going with? He expected other people to be there for him? Oh yeah, you mean like friends? You mean friends? He expected his friends to be there for him? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's like when you make a friend and you support them and you help them out at their lowest time, you kind of expect them to do the same for you. It's amazing how that works, right? It's crazy how that is. Kind of like what happened with freaking Ian and Anissa when he was the only person who would have them on the H3 podcast while everybody was yelling and calling him a cuck and was calling Anissa a whore and all this other shit and and nobody wanted to deal with them because she was doing OnlyFans. And freaking you have Ethan Klein, who was actually being cool with them, being helpful, like hosting them, practically is the whole reason why CC1 and CC2 even happened in the first place.
He always had enemies that he believed were working against him. But when his friends were
Yeah. He's just delusional, man. He's paranoid. He's paranoid. Guys, we have the approved Jewish hate talking speech. Okay. He was just paranoid that all of these people were against him, like Hassan, who calls him a genocidal maniac, like freaking, Denims, who says that CPS should have been called to his house, freaking Bad Empanada, who claims that he abuses his kids. Yeah. It's all in Ethan's head,
at their lowest moments. Well, they were content. Over time, since reaction style content became overdone and Ethan became branded as a pioneer on YouTube who safeguarded other content creators, he turned his brand towards critiquing other content creators who took things too far. The only thing is, these content creators claimed that behind the scenes, Ethan acted as their friends. Essentially, publicly, Ethan was acting like a hypocrite. For example, Ethan uploaded a video titled The Leafy Rant. He accused content creator at the time, Leafy, of being a bully and picking on people who weren't able to defend themselves. Most of Ethan's takes, I would say, I would agree with personally.
Most of you guys probably know Leafy is here. A whole genre of YouTubers of these kind of commentary channels where they show video game footage and then talk about some kind of video and react to a video. I've been putting off talking about this because I'm actually friends with these guys. We as a community have been giving these guys a pass. Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a asshole, cringy, weirdo, whatever. Turns out that this guy is actually autistic, and they made a video of themselves crying saying they're getting death threats and he's really upset. And I mean, if you look at Leafy's channel, all he does is make fun of kids and like vulnerable people. They don't need to be made fun of. And now that Leafy's channel has blown up, he's sending like millions of like kids to just harass these people.
The problem is many people felt that Ethan was a pioneer of this sort of content style, and so he was a hypocrite. Like when Ethan criticized
Okay, yeah, I agree with this. I 100% agree with this because I disliked it too when he did this. I didn't like the fact that he was like basically pulling the ladder up and then turned around and was like, I'm so much better than you guys now. He got that woke mind virus all up in him. So I agree with you on this. Like, this is an actual good point. Now, are you going to follow it up with a completely moronic response or a completely moronic follow-up point? We'll see.
Leafy for making content critiquing children when he himself had done the same thing before. Both, of course, very wrong.
When he missed his 5th period geometry test to hit the studio to record this sick track, Timmy knows what risk-taking is. Timmy rolls with his mom everywhere. He brings fire tracks and his mom's his biggest fan.
As a young white rapper who's new to the game.
Why did they feel the need to say that he's white?
In September of 2017, PewDiePie had made headlines for using the N-word.
What a f***er. What the fuck?
This incident came just months after PewDiePie made headlines for videos containing anti-Semitic and Nazi imagery.
You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out.
Ethan spoke about the
And that's a kind of a question. It's like, yes, he absolutely did. He's wrong for it. You're never going to hear me defend somebody throwing out the hard R. But what I am going to say though is the fact that so many people get offended by it, which, you know, makes sense, is kind of one of the reasons why it's somebody's go-to idea of like shock value, of like saying something that you know is going to cause a massive stir online. Not saying you should say it. You definitely shouldn't. Anybody who does should definitely get their ass handed to them. But yes, people make mistakes. People screw up. I mean, it happens. I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this.
The incident on the H3 podcast.
What you get is, I mean, refreshing in that it's pretty sincere.
Yeah.
Pretty owning up to what he did. But I don't know, when I first saw that, I was pretty shocked. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that long ago that all of us came out and rallied against him, you know?
Okay.
Oh, okay. So now I see exactly what it is. Okay, because when Ian and Ethan were on, Ethan basically was very giddy about being able to say it. Like, cause he did, he said it multiple times because Ian said it. But what's crazy is that she's probably going to show that. She's probably going to show the clip of Ian saying it while iDubbbz was on the podcast, but she's turning around and completely skipping over the fact that the implication that he just is this massive big-headed content creator who expects anyone and everyone to hold him and to help him and be there for him, when iDubbbz is a perfect example of somebody that he kept afloat and helped almost save his career and turned his back on him, and she doesn't even bring that up.
Against him?
I mean, in support of him.
Ethan had befriended the YouTuber iDubbbz, who at the time, due to his pretty toxic content, developed a relatively toxic fan base who had admired his edgy content. His comedy would often include the use of racist and homophobic slurs.
We are very fucking stupid to hold the word nigger at this colossally high standard.
During an H3 podcast featuring iDubbbz, Ethan recited the same racist and homophobic slurs. At some point, even Ian, aka iDubbbz, looked uncomfortable, questioning whether Ethan was taking the bit a little bit too far.
I've already said the N-word. You can't take me down. Someone makes a compilation like, here's Ethan saying nigger. Well, who said nigger? It's just been around the block. Yeah, I love that. You just say nigger fact. Yeah,
I feel like you're using it a little liberally.
I love saying nigger. It's so wonderful. Yeah.
So now you're gonna get shit for it.
It's just a wonderful string of words that fuck you.
But you know what Ethan didn't do that iDubbbz did do? He recognized that he did something wrong, right? He recognized that he took it way too far. He should never have done that. He should never have said anything. And he decided like, okay, guys, I apologize. I'm going to leave it at that. You know what iDubbbz did? iDubbbz decided to get with a black creator and apologize to the black creator on behalf of all blacks everywhere. Okay. And then he went and cried with the black creator on stream, apologizing and asking this black female to pretty much just forgive him on behalf of all blacks everywhere. So that one is performative as hell. The other one is, okay, I messed up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on. I'm going to do better, etc., etc. Jesus Christ.
And his whole thing is that he says and saying he's a hypocrite because he said before. Well, Ethan said before, and someone makes a compilation like, here's Ethan saying referring to the word and saying in a reference. H3 is a hypocrite because he said on his podcast. It's like, dude, I think there's a clear difference between saying and referencing it. I said he said when I'm me saying I was at a party and said and she left, and they're like, oh, Ethan said
he said it. Just
I have nothing to apologize for.
Again, completely disavow, 100%. You're never going to see me defend this. I totally understand. This is a different time in YouTube. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it okay. I 100% stand on that. But I'm also not going to sit here and turn around and act like Ethan didn't, you know, it didn't do the whole white guilt, the white guilt stereotype. He fucked up. He recognized he fucked up. And it's gone on from there.
Present day, Ian or iDubbbz would post a video apologizing for his past content. He admitted that he cultivated an audience who believed that this type of dialogue was acceptable.
I was saying slurs and I was trying to justify it all. A very big thing that has sort of altered my view on all of this is just the amount of hate and harassment my wife Anissa has received over the years. I have done a horrible job at acknowledging her and her feelings for it. That's the culture that I cultivated, and I, didn't do anything to change that.
His behavior also attracted racist people who could use that dialogue and pass it off as just edgy humor. Yet Ethan, on the other hand, largely ignores this part of his past, even his possible blackface. His viewers even enable this behavior.
Oh my God, his plausible blackface. Okay.
Claim those images are taken out of context and stem from the Kleins doing spray tans and charcoal face masks, even though the title of their YouTube video is called The Black Challenge. Subreddits, on the other hand, won't let Ethan forget this history.
Okay, but you're identifying this and saying, oh, well, it was a possible blackface. Okay, either it was blackface or it wasn't. There's no maybes, there's no ands, ifs, or buts, okay? Yes, he had a charcoal face mask, but what you're not doing, what you're not telling the audience is he did this with other colors too, okay? It wasn't like if it was just a charcoal face mask and it called it the Black Challenge or whatever, yeah, I'd be more inclined to believe he was doing it in a racially motivated way. But the fact that he did it with other freaking colors, like painting their faces other colors and had other color challenges, it doesn't hold the same amount of weight. And the simple fact that you're not saying that, you're not showing that is just absolutely it's bullshit. I hate that. You're leaving out context in an effort to say a narrative, to push a narrative, and hopes that nobody's gonna question it because it's Ethan. It's Ethan. You're going ahead and trying to farm the freaking Hassan fan base and the anti-Klein fan base to get views. But all you did was manage to get hated by that fan base and by the Klein fan base. That's how you know your video is complete ass. If both sides of the conflict, if both sides of YouTubers hate you, you're the problem. You're the problem.
Compilations exist online of Ethan's.
Exactly. He hasn't kept saying it and making the same mistake. If anything, he's gone complete overcorrection, sunshinery.
Saying the N-word.
How many I got to suck? Nick can't love the suck dick. Yo, the whole crowd got around one nigga. They talking about how one nigga figure how we can suck the whole.
Bro, this video is like 15 years old, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, like most of this shit is like 10 to 15 years old.
Parties, we just need to be able to taste like a nigga. So how many niggas I got to suck? I got AIDS, niggas spreading AIDS. He said, nah, nigga, I can't take that shit. Nigga, you too ugly, and all y'all niggas at home because y'all can do anything. Yeah, I'm number zero, nigga, and y'all niggas got the life. You think that I'm a racist and a hypocrite? Unsubscribe.
Yeah,
don't watch. Don't watch. My most recent video is making fun of a black person.
But here's where things get very dark. The strange videos that Ethan and Hila have taken part in aren't only offensive, they're extremely disturbing. And I would say, personally, they go far beyond what even Leafy and PewDiePie have posted. The very people Ethan has called out for being wrong in videos they've posted. I think his content has gone far beyond that. You've been warned for the content that I'm about to show you and how it completely shatters the image that Ethan and Hila have spent crafting online. The image.
Something tells me this is not going to shatter my opinion on the Kleins. Something tells me that whatever this video is right here is not going to make me turn around and be like, oh, the Kleins are terrible human beings. Yeah, Sunshinery, I hate that the most too. Leaving out context in an effort to go ahead and perpetuate an ongoing narrative, especially when the context surrounding it would default any opinions.
Of being advocates on the side of creators, of people. Ethan Klein sexualizes and mocks Boston Marathon bombing survivor in a deleted video, then fantasizes about orally R-wording her. Ethan Klein was 28 years old when they filmed this video. It was recorded by Hila Klein, the owner of Teddy Fresh. Keep that in mind. Ethan and Hila were married.
Oh my, the owner of Teddy Fresh. Keep that in mind, guys. We're going to have to talk about their clothing line. Remember, they're multimillionaires. They're bad people. And when she starts talking about Teddy Fresh, oh boy, do I have some things I want to say.
Married, and Hila was filming this video that you're about to watch. Ethan comments on this Boston Marathon bombing survivor. The purpose of that video was for Ethan Klein to mock the girl for making a political statement by doing a photo shoot with "You can scar me, but you can't stop me" written on her stomach and showing her scars. Why? Ethan suggests this is
Because it's poor taste comedy. It's not for everybody. I totally understand that. But let's not sit here and pretend that there aren't way more famous people who literally get paid to be comedians that have made jokes about the Boston bombing, okay? Let's not pretend like there aren't people out here who have made jokes about murder, rape, child molestation, all of these things, 9/11, freaking the Trail of Tears, okay? Let's stop pretending like, you can't just police a person's words. Do they screw up? Do they mess up? Is some stuff in poor taste? Yes. But like a very famous and amazing comedian said, I don't know what the line is until I've crossed it. And by that point, it's too late. Then you know what happened to that comedian? He ended up getting canceled or attempted cancel because he asked a chick if he could jerk off in front of her. Don't shoot me, buddy. Don't be dumb. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Let's be friends.
Inconsiderate because others actually died from the bombs. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The girl's name is Sydney Corcoran. Her mother lost both her legs. She was 17 years old at the time of the bombing and 18 years old in the photo. That photo was part of a photo shoot where survivors returned to Boston to symbolically finally cross the finish line 1 year after the bombings. This video, of course, will be heavily censored for the sake of the viewers, but also, most importantly,
for the sake of the viewers, I have to protect your delicate sensibilities. I have to protect your sensibilities, viewers. Is that who you pander to? Just massive snowflakes? Is that what you think of these people, that they're just so freaking pathetic and weak-willed that they can't stand, some harsh words?
For the sake of the bombing victim.
Thanks for joining me on the edgy material warning number 3. You can scar me, but you can't stop me. Now that is interesting and very deep and poetic. But what's even more interesting is if we just go a couple pixels down.
Okay. I retract what I just said and I switch it to this. The only reason that you're censoring it is so you don't get YouTube flagged. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend like it's anything else. It has nothing to do with your freaking weak-willed sensibility or your viewers' weak-willed and delicate sensibilities. If they're actually showing scars and all that, that's gonna get flagged by YouTube.
Boom. That's some good toe, girl. Yeah. Let me get down with that shit. I can smell it from here. Pretty brutal little scars. Nothing that a heavy night of won't incur. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, ignoring the camel, that fat, juicy, juvenile, but I won't stop. Fuck that shit, boy. Yeah. Ignoring that. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but you can see her in this. It makes it a much more powerful image. She's got a nice smug face. Good to I would ram my. I hope she can keep that smug smile for me that whole time. You know what I mean? Big up to her for.
Yes, this is terrible. Ethan's a terrible human being. I'm totally getting the sense that he wants to just rape this woman, that he wants to just hurt her and hold her down and do evil things to her. This isn't at all just a terrible, poor joke that doesn't freaking age well. Comedy 9 out of 10 times does not age well. That's just the truth, okay? Comedy doesn't age well over time. It's all about the freaking social climate. That's what determines whether or not comedy ages well. Yes, Sunshiner Eats. Yes, very heavily censored. Can I get maybe like a frame with those pixels?
For being brave, getting out here and making this very powerful political statement about her proximity to the bomb being less close than all the other ones who died. You can scar her, but you can't stop her, guys. And never forget, Boston bombing, 2013, guys. Never forget.
For Hila to be someone who is in the IDF, to have claimed that she experienced various hardships growing up in Israel, fear of bombings from Muslim countries, and then take part in mocking a bombing victim. That.
Oh my God. You know what? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Okay, freaking there are ex-military comedians who have talked about their friends being blown up. There are ex-military comedians who have talked about killing children. There are ex-military comedians or just even personnel who have joked about like finding arms or heads and shit, okay? I'm not about to sit here and fucking cry over a goddamn joke. Okay, when I was in basic training for the Marine Corps, We had one person die via suicide and a second person attempt it. Okay. And that person, I don't know if you know this, but what happens when you try to commit suicide while in basic training, they treat you like a freaking like you're getting 5150'd. You're only allowed to wear, oh my god. Okay, I gotta run. Hold on. I will continue this story in a second, everyone. I gotta run. So they treat you like you're being 5150'd. You lose your shoelaces. They duct tape your shoes so you can't like use them to hurt yourself. You're only allowed to wear sweaters, and you're like, you can't do anything. You have to literally sleep in the middle of the barracks in front of like 100+ people so that they can watch you sleep at night so you don't off yourself. Okay. And you want to know what happens? What I did whenever I heard an ambulance driving onto base, I started singing "Another One Bites the Dust" by Queen. That's what I did. Okay. I'm not about to sit here and freaking mog on somebody who made a joke about the Boston bombing survivor when I literally was in a position where someone had died and on base, and I sung "Another One Bites the Dust." Sometimes you do some, I mean, it's a little different because you do shit to turn around and like make it through and all that, but I'm not going to sit here and freaking rake Ethan over the coals for a fucking joke. If anything, the simple fact that Hila and Ethan had the possibility of being bombed and being murdered by, freaking missiles and grenades and shit gives them even more of a right to make a joke over it, at least in my fucking opinion.
That personally causes me to lose all sympathy for the two of them whatsoever. Ethan has continually over the years said,
okay, well, the fact that you made a shit video, it causes me to lose all sympathy for any harassment you've gotten. All right, see how that works? See how that works? My delicate sensibilities, my delicate commentary sensibilities for you producing a terrible freaking video. I don't care that your kids got dogs. I don't care that your auntie went ahead and had her pictures posted everywhere. I don't care that people were trying to find your address and fuck with you in life because of my poor little wokey sensibilities.
Said incredibly creepy things when it comes to women. Like when he said on the H3 podcast in front of Joji and Post Malone that women are meant to be conquered. Joji's reaction says it all.
Our Neanderthal.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see how real was his statement.
Cousins were like crazy. So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer. Men want to like.
Right.
So it's, women are in a nature setting like to be conquered.
Maybe we do have a problem with accountability culture, not in the ways in which we hold other people accountable, but in the ways that we're not able to hold ourselves accountable, hold a mirror up to ourselves, grow as individuals, understand where we went wrong, change, move forward, try to do better. When you point the finger, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. Ethan's fans.
Oh my God, what is that schoolyard BS? When you point the finger at somebody, you have 3 pointing back at you. Mommy told me to be nice. The golden rule. Fuck off.
Didn't seem to realize the extent of his past. At least many of them didn't, and Ethan was making waves as a content creator who stood up either for or against other content creators. So to many, they trusted him, his opinions, the ways in which he condemned others. Rules for thee, but not for me. While Ethan's fans trusted him, what they didn't know or realize was that to Ethan, they were becoming his armor, his army, a way to take down his enemies. Through the years, instead of lifting.
That's every content creator. Oh my gosh. You literally have like 700,000 freaking 700,000 freaking subscribers. Okay. If you were to make I'm pretty sure your own freaking fan base has engaged in some form of harassment because you don't have the ability to control random people on the internet. Okay. That's not how this works. You don't have the ability to control them. They're going to go ahead and brigade if they feel like it. Oh, what? So is Hassan responsible for every single thing that somebody does? If one of his fans or hundreds of thousands of his fans go and brigade a video, it's his fault? No, I'm not going to say that about Ethan. I'm not going to say that about Hassan. It's the individual person's fault. Nobody else's. God.
lifting other creators up, like the initial promise he sold to the world, Ethan tore others down to lift himself up. Ethan thrived off of having someone to hate. He always had many enemies online and few friends. Or when he had friends, they seemed to bond off of their mutual enemies. This is something he roped his audience into without even realizing it. For example, one of Ethan's biggest enemies throughout his career was fellow village troll Keemstar. Ethan's audience seemed to be sort of parasocially involved in Ethan's disdain for Keemstar without maybe even realizing such, to the extent that when Hila announced her pregnancy online, many of the comments were as such. Keemstar, hearing about Hila and Ethan being happy and pregnant. Me if Keemstar bothers Hila while she's pregnant. Back off, bitch. While it could just be a joke, a shared meme to viewers, they, without realizing it, were participating in a long-standing pattern that Ethan had of needing to have many enemies to tear down and go against and build a
when you're as big as he is, you're going to develop enemies no matter what, especially if you go after other freaking people. What do you mean? What do you mean?
fan base that could help him in his crusade. While many of Ethan's audience saw Keemstar as an easy enemy to dislike, the tide started shifting when Ethan began demanding that they see likable people Ethan brought onto his show as his friends, as enemies that they now turn against as well. But this strategy, at least initially, worked out well for the Kleins, catapulting their online success and following, bolstering their net worth. Ethan Klein has a net worth of $20 million, and Hila Klein has a net worth of $25 million, though some of the ways this wealth has been acquired may be perceived as less than savory. In the fashion industry, the act of copying, or at least borrowing heavily from someone else's designs, is pretty common. In September 2020, Ethan Klein said that James Charles' new merch line looked pretty identical to items from Hila's recent Teddy Fresh collection.
That hoodie is like our most iconic piece. It's our #1 seller. It has been for years. And like James Charles making, it's exactly the same hoodie.
It's actually been ripped off a lot too.
Yeah, exactly. Sunshine.
Let me show it.
Damn it, Keemstar.
Because people may not know.
We wouldn't really do anything about it because what can you do? But I think in this case, it just kind of hurt because it's a fellow YouTuber who's actually got way bigger influence than we do.
Yeah, way big.
And so it just kind of hurts.
Hila then shared photos of the 2017 sketches of her color block hoodie, revealing a pattern and color scheme similar to the sisters' hoodies. Initially, James responded with a photo of the inspiration for his hoodies, saying that he's never seen the Teddy Fresh color block hoodies. Ethan released the DMs between him and James and spoke further about them, claiming that James Charles admitted that he did not care, even if one of his team members did steal the Teddy Fresh designs.
This is the part that I really want to share, but you won't let me. The thing is, he brought up the DM, so I feel like he's saying it's okay to share it.
He's not.
But he literally said, after I confronted him, and I hadn't seen this colorway here, he says, oof, just to give you a heads up, it appears that this one has the exact same colors, and it looks like the design team totally ripped you off. He literally said,
My sisters.
And I said, wow, so it doesn't seem like a coincidence, does it? And he said, it's not. He says, it does not appear to be a coincidence. So he literally admit that they ripped us off in the DM.
It seems pretty clear that potentially he personally was not aware, although that is very questionable too. But let's say that it was not. Someone on his team was. But it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, it's his responsibility.
One would assume that Teddy Fresh having someone plagiarize their designs would make the Kleins against doing something similar. However, in 2021, a Reddit user came forward with allegations that some designs used by Teddy Fresh in a collection themed around dinosaurs had been copied directly from a 1990 knitting pattern booklet. The book, titled Dinosaur: 5 Knitting Patterns, was created by Gary Kennedy, who made various licensed knitting pattern booklets in the 1980s and 1990s. On the H3 podcast, Ethan admitted that the designs were plagiarized, but he claimed that the design was submitted by someone who was previously fired back in 2021, months earlier.
Okay, hold on. You just did this little segment here about freaking James Charles saying, no, I didn't freaking steal this design. And even if I did steal this design, I don't care. And now you're turning around and saying Ethan is just as bad because he stole a design. But what was his response to this? We got it submitted by a viewer. We did steal the design. He admits to it. He admits to it being similar. He admits to it being submitted by by somebody else. Does he turn around and apologize? Like, these are two completely different reactions. One was bad and one was hopefully good.
Despite trying to pass the blame onto an anonymous former employee, Hila admitted in an interview with People that she's very involved in the design and all of the creative when it comes to Teddy Fresh. Regardless, Ethan still made comments like, we could probably still legally sell it, suggesting that nothing would happen if Teddy Fresh still sold the designs without crediting Gary Kennedy.
Okay, first of all, the Teddy Fresh thing. So Teddy Fresh is a company with 30 employees. And by the way, I love whenever someone's losing a debate to me, they bring this up. It's literally the lowest hanging fruit.
Go ahead,
we have like a whole team of designers, and sometimes our designers are taking stuff way too close to the source.
Yeah, bring out Hila. Hey, bring him in.
Hold on. Let me finish. Teddy Fresh, we have designers, right? And we have a fairly large company. This is a common problem in all streetwear. We've had designers who have pretty much close to stole designs. We fired people over it, and every time it comes up, we have company meetings.
1 month later, in December of
Okay, so he literally just said that he recognizes the fact that they've had designers steal designs and that he fired them for it. I'm sorry, this is not the same response. This is not the same issue here. James Charles said he doesn't know if his team stole it and he doesn't care if they did. Ethan says, we looked into this, we found out that yeah, it was stolen. Maybe we could still sell it, but we're firing people who upend and steal real design. This isn't the same thing. Why are you not saying that? Why are you not? Oh my God, you're giving the contrast in responses, but you're hitting him over the head with the fact that somebody else did it, not the fact that he responded the proper way. Now, do I agree with the fact that he should have turned around and been like, yeah, we could probably still sell it? I mean, if he says that, oh, you know, they changed the design up more or something like that, then yeah, I totally agree. He should 100% still be able to sell it if he changed the design enough for it to not be, you know, for it to not be too close to the original design.
Of 2021, Teddy Fresh debuted another sweater. We collaborated with Gary Kennedy on our vintage dinosaur sweater, who in the 1980s and 1990s led a world-renowned company that produced Intarsia knitting patterns. Much love to Gary, who was gracious enough to lend us his design. Despite seemingly learning their lesson, this would not be, allegedly, the last time that Teddy Fresh stole designs. Allegedly. In the past, the brand has ripped
yeah, saying allegedly, come on.
Bear from a vintage t-shirt, only changing the color scheme before slapping a logo on it and reselling it. They did something similar to another random vintage t-shirt. In another side-by-side photo, Teddy Fresh seemingly ripped off an ASOS sunflower design, with only slight differences and the Teddy Fresh logo. Teddy Fresh also made a similar design.
You believe he talked to the guy that designed the dinosaur stuff to make sure it would be okay to sell? Well, see, here's the thing, right? You can copy, it's kind of the same thing as like transformative work, right? You can take something, and again, I'm not saying that this is the best thing to do, but you can take something, you can change it up a little bit, and then you can turn around and resell it, repackage it. I mean, look at Pokimane. Pokimane went ahead and was selling cookies, saying that it was an all original recipe. It was all, you know, they were in the freaking lab together cooking up this this brand new thing, when in actuality all she did was take over another cookie and just renamed it and took out some some more sugar, or took out sugar or something, like reduced the grams of sugar that was in it and upcharged it. This happens all the freaking time. I'm not saying that it's, you know, a good thing or a good way to practice your selling, but this happens. You can take a design, swap it up a little bit, and then turn around and, you know, repackage it. How many, you know, animation studios have redone freaking Demon Slayer? Or like, how many different movies are there? How many different Spider-Mans are there? How many different Batmans are on there? Because they went ahead and they got the IP and they were able to repackage it. Now, that's a little different because you actually have to pay for the IP when it comes to that, but it's still the same thing. If somebody was to take the TLO logo, right, that I have, and the same color scheme, the same everything, and then they put like, I don't know, MBM or something like that, it's a completely different logo at that point. Yes, it has the same design and it has the same color, but you have different letters. They change it out just enough for it to fall within copyright. It happens, and you know, 99% of the time, at least for me, I look at that as like, I look at that as flattering. Like somebody needed it so much that they turned around and they stole the idea. The same thing as Keemstar taking the idea of the after show and going and making Rewind. I'm not upset about that. I don't care. It makes sense. It's literally what should happen. Like he needed that, you know, he needed a Rewind for the locale universe. I look at it and I think to myself, I came up with an idea so good that a freaking multi-millionaire decided that he needed to implement it into his own business. That's the way I look at it. Like, imagine how things could have gone if we made a massive stink about it and we're just salty over it. We wouldn't have the audience we do currently.
To Prada's Flame Intarsia sweater. Pandora's upholstery also fell victim to the brand. And more recently, it seems like artists have lost interest in Hila, have stopped working with the brand. The respect for Teddy Fresh has fallen. What was once a respected endeavor, where a YouTuber went beyond the realms of content creation, is now floundering, and Hila is notably freaked out about it. Recently, there's a Reddit post by an alleged insider who claimed that Teddy Fresh is not doing well. Take everything I say here with a grain of salt, as I am not affiliated with the brand, but I'm close to a couple of
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is your evidence. This is your evidence. A freaking H3 snark, and it's somebody who's not even affiliated with the brand. They're only getting secondhand, maybe third-hand information, and they're putting a post out on freaking H3 snark, which is a subreddit dedicating to hating the Kleins, and you think that this is a good enough piece of information to implement into your video on how they destroyed their career and like something that probably probably has never even been verified to be true or not. And it's been deleted from H3 Snark as well.
Of people who work or have worked for Teddy Fresh. Just before Christmas, they laid off about 1/3 of their employees. Money is a major reason why. Anyone can deduce that the company is not pulling in what it used to. However, what I've heard is that production is mismanaged.
How can they deduce that it's not pulling in what they used to? Do you have the quarterly reports? Do you have the freaking annual reports? Do you have any, like, do you know what they're making? Do you know what they're selling? Do you know what their overhead cost is? Do you, like, how can somebody just deduce the fact that they're not making money? It's the same thing when, listen, I've been more than critical of the LCU. I've been more than critical of a lot of different things. But when people turn around and say that, oh, it's going downhill, it's terrible now, it's just only a couple of weeks until, you know, the doors close, they're still making over $100,000 a year over at the LCU. Now, is the quality of content degraded at this point in time? In my opinion, yes, it is. But that doesn't mean that they're going downhill. It doesn't mean the doors are closing anytime soon.
Managed at every level. My opinion is that H&E, Hila, and Ethan were spoiled by high-selling early releases and began to think anything the company touched would turn to gold. Now, obviously, not the case. The result of this is layoffs. Hardworking people treated like collateral thanks to things being so poorly managed. The people.
What proof do you have? What proof do you have that people are being poorly managed? And secondly, why are those people who are being laid off and telling you this shit not coming out and saying it themselves?
I've spoken to.
Is it possibly because they don't have the proof to back up the claims?
Are not confident that the company will be around much longer.
Well, actually, it's up to 80% off some of this.
And how old is this clip? Like, how old is that? How old is that post? Huh? 9 months ago? I don't know if it was, I don't know what 9 months ago. It was 9 months ago from today. Well, they're still around, still making money. So I guess we'll see in a year.
Managed. The people I've spoken to are not confident that the company will be around much longer.
Well, actually, it's up to 80% off some of this. We did deep discounts because, like, we just want to get, you know, it's like, okay, we have like 10 or XLs. But it's a good opportunity. Rick and Morty, sorry guys, it's a heavy discount. I mean, I paid for the product. I got to unload it.
The Kleins used to have famous associates, influencers they knew, who would support their brands, associate with their name. But over the course of the last few years, they have few friends and even fewer frenemies. Though at one point, Ethan was a part of the most famous online frenemy-ship.
Yes, with Trisha Paytas, somebody who literally broke up his home.
Keep it up. Proud of you.
Why frenemies or love-hate relationships are so bad for your health. In a May 2019 video titled Instagram versus Reality, Ethan discussed the growing epidemic that was tearing apart lives, families, worst of all, social media. That was the issue, that sometimes people looked differently in photos than they did in real life. This video gained 13 million views. People were really concerned that women were deceiving people, these tricksters, these witches. And the main person that Ethan called out in the video was Trisha Paytas, who he called the spokesperson of Instagram versus Reality.
Come on, people, let's get a grip here.
Listen. Yes, exactly. I was just about to point this out. Let's not sit here and pretend like women don't freaking doll themselves up for Instagram, but sometimes be looking like complete gremlins when when you take the freaking makeup off. And this is a perfect example. Listen, social media is not real. People only post the best parts of their life on social media. You're seeing things dolled up. You're seeing the fake reality. Nobody is living the way that they are on Instagram all the time.
Yes! This girl is the spokesman of Instagram reality. Why are you even a model if you're going to modify your looks that much? It's like from beauty queen to WWF wrestler in 2 seconds. You cannot Photoshop your heart and soul. Remember that.
Trisha responded on Twitter, posting several tweets, including one calling Ethan disgusting and a bully. She posted a video titled H3 is harming young girls.
It just made me so sad and upset that, like, there's this 40-year-old man shaming, like, girls. And I'm going to speak for myself because I was featured heavily in the video, shaming girls for really just how they look. He would take my one photo that I was glam for on Instagram and compare it to, like, a video like this or a vlog video where I have no makeup on. It wasn't the same day. It was completely different looks. And I was like, okay, your point is to try and prove this is not how this person looks in reality. But you're not taking, like, a photo from that day with my hair and makeup done, with another video clip of my hair and makeup done that day. And it just was like...
But you don't look that way. That's the point. That is the point that he's making. You do not look the same way without the makeup. That's the whole point of the video. Now, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not dogging on females or anything like that. I'm not doing anything of that nature. But it's the same thing for a dude. Dudes aren't always going to be looking good. Dudes aren't always going to be having the best, fit on 24/7. Sometimes, when we lose the suit and everything, we look like gremlins ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be comfortable in your own skin. Nothing wrong with wanting to be comfortable in your own clothes. Maybe you got some Cheeto stains here and there. It is what it is. You don't have to be perfect 24/7.
What's the point you're trying to prove that I'm not
But if you're trying to sell an image, it doesn't really look good for you.
attractive without, when I have hair and makeup done, I'm a lot more attractive. And I understand that, and that's why I get it done, and I pay to get it done. And I have a second channel where I just show myself makeup bliss because it's taken me a long time to get comfortable at that point.
At its core, Trisha made some valid points. If women are photoshopping their photos, it could be because they're insecure, and making a video blasting that insecurity out to the public to
That's a them problem, though. That's literally a them problem.
millions of viewers, probably not going to help them. Trisha also mentioned that a variety of factors could influence how someone's looking depending on the day. I definitely did not wake up looking like this, depending on whether I'm going through depression, in a better mental
I hope not, because it looks like you got a freaking pound of cooking oil on your face.
state, in a worse
That should be shimmering.
mental state, I probably look widely differently. And that doesn't necessarily mean that a woman is deceiving her audience, not to mention the pressure women
No, don't go there. Don't go there. It doesn't mean that they're deceiving their audience. It literally is. Like, that's literally what they're doing. Oh. Ooh, no. This is the biggest rip. Hey, buds. Oh, no. If you have a defibrillator, that'd be nice. Nope. If you want my shit, you're going to have to come in here and get it.
often feel to adhere to the beauty standards.
It just made no sense. So people facetune their bodies to make them feel better about themselves. Okay. There's also very real sides to everybody that they show on social media. I show everything. So to use that as an example is like disgusting. So unethical because it's so far off. You use two separate photos from different days to compare my ugliness to my pretty pictures. It honestly made me physically sick. And I really love YouTube, and lately it's been so hard. Everyone deals with hate, that's part of the internet, but to have another influencer just trash your looks and a middle-aged male at that, who are you to say that? And then it just made
You're not gonna get me to feel bad for Trisha.
me so sad because for anyone else watching, people literally, girls take their lives over stuff like that. They feel so ugly. They're made to feel so
This bitch has literally said the exact same thing that Ethan has said about other women. I'm not gonna feel bad.
ugly.
Ethan, in his own responses, seemed unaware of the whole beauty standard aspect of it all and preached that everyone should feel comfortable in their own skin.
We need to understand collectively, nobody's that happy. We are all miserable. They're just so much better at faking it. And you know what they're doing? They're making all this feel even worse. That's why today I am proud to present to you one of the best subreddits in the game, Instagram Reality, where they take a snippet from someone's Instagram or social media and show you the actual reality behind the post. Today, I guarantee you that you will be feeling better, more confident. We need to embrace that and lift ourselves up in the knowledge that we are all ugly, pathetic monsters that just want to eat McDonald's every day.
You should listen to Ethan. This is definitely a man who feels very comfortable in his own skin. Ethan addressed the situation for the final time on the H3 podcast.
I didn't know who she was, to be honest with you, but I guess she's actually quite a big YouTuber. She has 5 million followers or something. And so we put her in the thumbnail because her comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to read. It's like expecting me to feel bad for foodie beauty. It's never gonna happen.
Was just so epic to me. She says, "Please, Ela Klein, do not raise your child to be as ignorant as your husband. I would divorce him ASAP as he's causing so much damage to young women. It's actually sickening. I've never been more disgusted. That you stand by him is even more disgusting."
Yet the feud between Ethan and Trisha would be reignited months later when Trisha came out with a video titled "I am transgender." Spoiler alert: Trisha still identifies as female. Ethan commented on the backlash against Trisha during an episode of the H3 podcast.
YouTube personality Trisha Paytas set off a series of disapproving social media reactions Monday after claiming to be trans, despite identifying 1000% with her birth gender. Checkmate.
I mean, that's a direct quote from her. That's not editorializing.
Still, checkmate. The video is about 15 minutes long, begins with Paytas warning that people might think I'm trying to be offensive or set back the movement. She appears to identify as transgender on a part-time basis.
In response, Trisha uploaded a video titled "H3 is worse than Donald Trump." On Twitter, a user demands that Ethan have Trisha as a guest on the podcast, and Ethan responds if she's man enough. Trisha replies, $18 million and I'll do it. Ethan says, "You'd definitely do it for free." A few days later, on October 18th, 2019, Ethan uploaded a video mocking Trisha's apology videos.
Hey guys, it's Ethan here again. I just wanted to come.
You're never, listen, this is comedy. You're not going to get me to be mad about this. I understand that your whole point, your whole thing is trying to get people to be upset with him. It's not going to happen. You're picking the wrong people. This is like trying to get someone to feel bad for people who have done like a freaking Sam Pepper. I'm never going to feel bad for Sam Pepper. Fuck Sam Pepper and everybody who was friends with him and swept for him and allowed him to do all the dumb shit he did.
Come on really fast and apologize to everybody. I totally did not expect the backlash from our last video. I wanted to basically apologize to Trisha Paytas, who is such a sweet, genuine person, and I just really, I wanted to first of all apologize for saying that she looked like she was at an open casket funeral, like she was the corpse inside of a casket. I mean, that's not true. That's just not what I meant at all. You're so beautiful. You're such a queen. And I also wanted to apologize for saying that you have like a 5 to 10 inch engorged that's bigger than my. I mean, that would basically make you a guy. That would basically mean you had a. And well, I guess I'm kind of confused because you said you're trans, but I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to offend you. I know that. I'm sorry for saying that you're not trans. God, man, even though you have like cup F jugs that are always on display and not, that would make you, I don't know, but gender's all in the mind anyway, and I shouldn't even go there, but mostly I just want to apologize to Trisha and say that I think she's really hot, and it definitely doesn't look like, she definitely doesn't look like, you know, she's been passed around as much as a bowling ball, and she's gone through
Again, this is supposed to make me be mad at him. This is supposed to make me be mad at him. And you guys, the viewers. It's supposed to make everyone mad at him.
as much as a bowling ball too. Like,
apparently she must have thought that Trisha Paytas was this beloved character on YouTube. She must have thought that Trisha Paytas, because she has all of these subscribers, that she just never was in controversy, that she was just never a bad human being, that she just never went ahead and attacked people for no reason. Like, is this literally what this is? The person? This is your champion? This is your this is your champion? I don't give a damn about no Trisha Paytas.
She's just always hitting pins.
But Trisha surprised many when she appeared on the HD podcast on October 26, 2019. Despite our differences and a few rocky moments, it was really fun having you in the studio. Ethan tweeted to Trisha after the episode dropped.
Well, first of all, Trisha Paytas is here to. Are we here to squash the beef or roast the beef?
Ooh. I would love to squash it.
And you know what's amazing about this? What's absolutely freaking amazing about this is that she's using this freaking Cruel World Happy Lies over here, is trying to utilize this as some sort of like gotcha moment on freaking Ethan Klein. Yet they went on to create one of the most popular freaking podcasts to ever exist on YouTube. And Ethan Klein ended up making her hundreds of thousands of dollars because of this, you know, feud of theirs. Like, this is not a very good representation of him being this terrible human being, because they ended up becoming friends over it. She ended up like marrying his like cousin or something. Like, this isn't a very good look for you. If you're really trying to get us to hate him, you should probably not be like, hey guys, he was this terrible human being to this woman. And then you know what he did? He helped her make hundreds of thousands of fucking dollars.
But I like you guys talking about me. I actually genuinely hated you at the beginning of this year in May. Like, I genuinely, when you did that video.
From the Instagram reality one?
Yeah, like genuinely disliked you and thought you were like disgusting.
I don't think I'm a troll.
I think you're a troll.
I think you're a troll.
No.
Are you a troll?
No.
Trisha and Ethan appeared to settle their differences on the podcast.
Yeah, play a clip of her saying, I genuinely disliked you and now I don't.
The pair had a genuine conversation regarding gender
Really
and
helps
social
you.
identity.
Just the reality of it.
Oh, you are a man.
You weren't born with
Right. Yeah, that I wasn't born with this is what they're saying. My point is, a lot of people are transphobic.
Yeah, his
Coming out
wife's
transgender is not going to help
brother.
my dating
Yeah.
life. It's not going to. Why would I put that on myself to hurt? I'm trying to date. I'm trying to get married. Why would I put that out there just so people can look up that I'm a transgender if I truly don't believe that?
Trisha returned to the HD podcast months later. The Kleins reintroduced a dating game to help Trisha find love.
So we've got Trisha back here, and the reason that Trisha's joining us today is, as you all know, Ian's had a season of The Bachelor. We thought Trisha Paytas, now that's the next season of The Bachelorette. That has to be.
Although Trisha did not end up dating anyone from the video, she did have interest in Hila's brother, Moses.
I don't
Does
know.
your brother think I'm hot though? He like was down.
Well, I don't talk to him about.
But he knew it was.
No, he wanted. Yeah, he wanted to apply.
He wanted to apply though. He did tell us he was going to.
Like in a serious way?
Yes.
Wow. Why haven't you just hooked it up then? Why did we have to do all this? Why didn't you just be like, oh, like Hila's brother wants to see you? I'd be like, yes.
He doesn't want to marry you necessarily.
How do you know? Oh, because he's Jewish.
Well, I don't know.
That's literally my type, and he looks so good.
Trisha later tweeted out.
See, you're not going to hate on Trisha for saying, oh, what, he doesn't want to marry me because he's a Jew. You're not going to hate on her for that. Like, are you serious? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. She doesn't deserve to be hated on for that. But if you're going to go ahead and be so flagrant with your, you know, your disgust of Ethan Klein for the comments that he makes, for the very obvious jokes that he says, why are you not having that same energy for Trisha when she literally just said, what, he's not going to marry me because he's a Jew?
Out photos of her and Moses social distancing together.
There's more. We will see these on her Instagram stories. In bed with somebody.
Yeah.
And
just see
and
an
we see a
arm.
hand, and I'm like, again, cryptic. I think it's his arm. Quarantine date night. This is a separate day. So whoever this is come back to her house, a date night. She called it a date night, and whoever it is brought dinner, which by the way looks like quite a fancy dinner too.
I know my brother, and I immediately spotted his stickers on the table.
So he's hanging out with her now more, not telling us. I'm like, yo, what's going on with Trisha? Downplaying it.
Towards the end of March 2020, she posted a photo of the pair together on Twitter. At the end, I won the Bachelorette. Hila responded at the time saying, "Stop this right now," with a vomiting emoji. At first, the internet wasn't really sure if Trisha was trolling or not, but as time went on, she seemed pretty serious about Moses, and often expressed her frustration about Ethan and Hila meddling in their relationship.
I am just not someone who's comfortable with someone else sharing my narrative.
On September 15th, 2020, Trisha and Ethan joined forces and launched the Frenemies podcast, where they relied on their tumultuous chemistry to carry each episode. The set even aligned with each respective host's personality and the energy they exude. Ethan's side was dark, gloomy, pessimistic. Trisha's bright, pink, and vibrant.
Well, my friends, here we are. They said...
And airheaded. Completely airheaded and asinine. Let's not forget those either.
It would never happen. Me and Trisha making a podcast, and frankly, I thought they were right for a while.
Despite both of them being very honest that things could go wrong very quickly, they embraced the idea of doing business together.
Someday you'll be my sister-in-law.
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
'cause
I'm Hila's sister-in-law.
You're still my sister-in-law if you marry my brother-in-law.
I mean, I'll
no?
take it. Oh, our babies would be related.
Cousins.
Oh, cute, because they have the same genetics. Skinny.
I thought you couldn't have kids because you had double gonorrhea or something.
Yeah. I mean, I have uterus still, so like I can still get like IVF or something.
That being said, things often went wrong on the Frenemies podcast, which probably made it a very stressful working environment, but very
They were meant to go wrong. You think everything's supposed to go right on a freaking podcast called Frenemies? That was the whole point. That was the whole selling point. How are you this oh my God. How are you this moronic? How are you this much of an idiot? It was literally meant to go wrong.
Very entertaining for viewers. In one episode, Trisha seemingly blindsided Ethan by mentioning his substance issues out of the blue to prove that he's not as open as he claimed. Ethan responded by accusing Trisha of weaponizing his issues against him. Trisha storms out of the podcast episode, creating a viral moment that received millions of views online.
You hide it more, just like Mikey, who hides.
Oh, really?
Gets brought to the surface
I don't hide
later
it.
on.
I don't hide it.
You do hide the
I'm all out there with no fucking eyebrows and everything.
You were into pills. You never talk about that you were a pill addict for a minute.
What?
Yeah, you said that. You said you were really into pills and you don't talk about that.
Why do I need to talk about that? This is why you are such a dangerous person, especially to be close with. You'll take something that somebody told you in confidence and you'll use it. You'll weaponize it against them.
That's not true.
That's what you just did.
It's insane that she's using this as a moment to be like, see, Ethan Klein, bad person. Ethan Klein, he's a bad human being. Oh, he's not, he's not saying that he's a good person. He's not actually a good person. Look at him. But you're not going to give Trisha shit for literally ousting him having a pill problem to tens of thousands of people as like a got you, as a way to go ahead and get after him. Like, come on, woman. This is, oh my God.
You called me crazy, knowing my history.
Bro, we always call you crazy. You're like upfront
but
crazy.
if you're gonna call me crazy, then I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
hey,
but
why
then
don't you own up to what you've done? That's
that
also
doesn't make
crazy.
me crazy. I'm joking around, and then you go, okay, so what do I have to
No.
weaponize against Ethan? Oh, you told me you used to take pills in Israel.
You want me to weaponize you? Because I have things I can actually weaponize you with.
Ultimately, when you look at the way that Trisha was used on the H3 podcast, it seems like she was often used as a way to stoke her flames for views and engagement. This is something that Ethan has done in the past to other content creators that he's seen as easily provoked for engagement.
This is the same thing that all content creators do. The same thing that all content creators do. Okay. It's called milking somebody. Ethan is not the originator of it. He's also not like even the biggest perpetuator of it. Like, come on, let's stop with this. Texting and driving is not working. Frenemies was good. Jess, you don't have to think it. Okay. Yeah. I do not approve of texting and driving, even though I do it myself. I disavow. Do not text and drive, please.
Engagement. Ethan Klein used to associate with the creator JonTron, who was exposed for some incredibly horrible, like blatantly bad takes that had him virtually canceled. Yet after the fact, Ethan invited him onto the H3 podcast to have a discussion.
So after 8.5 months, now you give JonTron a platform to defend himself?
It happened. How long ago was that now?
I don't keep track. 9 months or something.
Ethan continued to say things that seemed intentional to sort of garner a reaction within JonTron.
I don't really want to get.
Okay, JonTron literally screwed up. Let's not sit here and act like he's the victim, okay? Let's not sit here and act like JonTron is the freaking victim in all of this. Homeboy was went full like Hitler, okay? Let's not let's stop with this BS retelling of events.
Get into this. It's a minefield of sorts. I'm not going to go back and nitpick everything I said and say and qualify it or anything. The main question on everyone's mind is, is he a racist? Is he a Nazi? No.
Do you feel like you said some things that you regret?
Yeah, I don't like reliving it.
Did you have a lot of self-aware moments during that?
Of course, the whole time.
Jimmy Lee was a former dentist turned comedian. He gained widespread attention around early 2016 when Ethan Klein reacted to one of his videos.
This guy's on fire.
Hey, I'm on
up dentist.
What? The thing that's f***ed up is that he's a real dentist.
Yeah.
So when he's saying, hey, I'm one f***ed up dentist, hey,
Yeah.
little shop of horror, he's actually a real dentist. I don't want to go to your little shop of horror. You know what I mean? No, man.
Then Jimmy appeared in an HC podcast in 2017, where Ethan started the episode by making condescending remarks about Lee.
He opens the podcast by basically bashing him and discrediting him as a comedian.
His comedy style is essentially roasting people he's never met before.
Then after talking about him, he welcomes him onto the podcast.
Jimmy Lee, welcome, the legend.
The guest actually reveals himself to be kind of, a decent guy.
Is it possible? Are you gonna be there the whole time?
Are you filming?
Are you filming?
We have 3 cameras in
Just-
here, Jimmy.
I mean, I don't mind the...
Get out, dude.
Yet another more recent episode is a frequent segment the H3 podcast would have with a disabled creator named Gabe, who Ethan would often use for content through baiting Gabe to say outlandish things for essentially a good clip or good content. Like in this clip.
Okay, if he's a bad human being for this, like I'm not exactly sure what you think about the commentary sphere then. Okay, what about what happened with like freaking Flamenco, Nicholas Diorio? You're not gonna have me, crying tears for freaking Flamenco on this. You're not gonna have me crying tears for like people making fun of Bo Blacks. You're not gonna have me over here crying tears for for freaking Mama Max or anything. That's not what's gonna happen. People screwed up. They were dumb enough to go online and like say all this stuff. You have every right to turn around and question them on this. Now they have the choice to leave, to not be there, but they choose to stay because they're trying to go ahead and save their reputation. That's what it is. I'm not. Yeah, no.
Clip where Ethan asked Gabe about his experience in doing a sexual act.
You ever gone down on a girl, Gabe? Have you ever? You haven't. Is that something you're looking to try?
Yeah, someday.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. What is your birthday coming up?
Like practicing.
How do you practice? Do you ever practice on like the corner of your elbow? Right here?
Just being a gentleman, I guess.
Yeah, you're a good man, Gabe. You're gonna make a girl really happy.
I practice in front of the mirror.
Oh my God, can you do it right now? Pretend you're in front of the mirror.
Oh, I'm so offended
you're ready
by
to go,
this.
Gabe. You're gonna make a girl
I'm
very
so
happy.
offended
Poor
by
Gabe,
this. So offended that he's making a joke about this. Come on, man. Seriously? This is your example of him abusing somebody, asking them if they'd be willing to go down on a girl if they wanted to. Like that. This is your thing. This is your whole freaking shtick here. Oh, poor Gabe. Poor Gabe. He was asked if he would go, give oral to a chick. Poor him.
Realizing he's being used. Right after this, Ethan says, looking forward to your birthday next Friday, which of course they didn't attend. When Gabe is on the show all the time for frequent segments to be laughed at. I'm so glad Gabe has actual friends and, by the looks of it, a fulfilling life with lots of positivity. Nowadays, at times, Ethan will claim that his mental health is being used by others, that he's being baited into reacting, or others will claim that in defense of Ethan. But Ethan is one of the content creators that set that sort of system up. Again, rules for thee, but not for me. If you can't give Ethan something,
No. We're not going to just skip over that, okay? He literally has had CPS called on him. He's had human skulls sent to him. He's had his channel. He's had so many things, so much brigading. Let's not sit here and say that him asking if a dude is willing to go down on a chick is the exact same thing as him being having human skulls sent to his house as a threat, or having CPS being called to his home and having them trying to take his kids out of school to interview them. These aren't the same things. I'm not exactly sure how anyone could even try and associate them as the same. God, I think Gabe would be more offended if he was treated like he was disabled. Exactly. That's literally the thing, Jazz. More people would be upset. More disabled people would be upset, or at least I would imagine more people would be upset if they were actually treated like they were disabled, because that to me would be just the worst thing ever, because I'm not my disability is not who I am, right? So why in the hell should I get special treatment? And if he's not making a stink out of them not attending his birthday, I don't know if he did or not, why does anybody else feel the right to be able to do so? That's my question. You're literally white knighting for somebody who doesn't need you, or who potentially didn't even say they had an issue with it.
Either an entertaining clip or enough views from your own platform. He doesn't care what you have to say. William Osman is an engineer who created a beanie that could talk, an invention his audience suggested he make for Ethan specifically in 2018.
Today's project is an animatronic beanie for the Fupa King himself, Ethan of H3H3.
During that summer, Ethan invited William onto the H3 podcast when William's subscriber base was almost at 700K. But Ethan didn't seem to view William as a valuable person person to have on the show. The interview was limited to 20 minutes, instead of being the main focus of the show. Once his 20 minutes were done, William was ignored and awkwardly instructed to leave.
They basically just talk about how his house burned down for a good 15 minutes of his 20 minutes. Immediately after this, they transition swiftly into the talking beanie.
Well, I'm happy that you made it out.
Me too.
I mean, you really saved the most important thing, really.
I agree.
When you got the beanie in. Let me try this thing on. Let's see. Let's
We got sound effects.
turn it up, Dan. God bless. I think I did the bit.
Nice. That's good.
Thank you, everyone. Round of applause for the beanie guy.
So far they've talked about his house burning down, and he's presented them the beanie. So what's next?
All right, that was great. I had a lot. So thank you very much. I'll say, William, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So that's it. They just wanted him to come on, talk about his tragedy, and then give him the...
Okay, hold on. Is the beanie guy making an issue? Does the beanie guy have an issue with it? This is just some other person. This is just some other content creator who seems to have an issue with the amount of time that the guy was given on the H3 podcast. Why are we sourcing him? Why are we not sourcing the beanie guy? Why is the beanie guy not like being sourced as like a reason as to why this is a bad thing? Does the beanie guy not care? Did he not have anything to say about this? Like, and if he doesn't have anything to say about this, it's not a problem. Jesus Christ. Oh, hold on. He was a bad person to somebody who made him a beanie. The beanie guy himself didn't actually say anything bad about it. He didn't make a video about it. Again, I don't know if he did or not. But the simple fact that you're showing us some other content creators' coverage of this rather than the beanie guy's coverage of this leads me to believe he didn't care. Leads me to believe that the freaking beanie guy didn't have a problem with it.
The beanie and get out.
Well, once again, thank you so much, William. And really appreciate you coming out here all the way from Ventura.
These examples show that ultimately, Ethan isn't this internet vigilante who was made.
No. These examples show that you know how to source from people who don't like Ethan. That's all this shows. All this shows is the fact that you're able to find clips that most likely were sourced from H3 Snark, a dedicated hate group against Ethan Klein, and you're able to put them together into a freaking 3+ hour video and try and add your own context around them. It doesn't show that he's not this vigilante. Now, don't get me wrong. He's definitely screwed up. I'm not going to sit here and say everything Ethan Klein has done is golden, you know, but what I'm not going to do is take the word of somebody outside of the person you're claiming that Ethan Klein did dirty and just turn around and be like, oh, well, this guy said it, so it must be true. I'm not, listen, I'm open-minded, but I'm not so open-minded that my brain falls out, okay? That I'm willing to hear certain viewpoints, but you're not going to have me regurgitating some dumb stuff just because you, I have to wait. Just because you want him to be this terrible person. That's not going to happen.
Made out to be. Instead, he's an expert at content creation and always putting himself at the forefront, sacrificing the needs of others if it doesn't benefit his platform or create good content. The thing is, though Trisha was seen as easily provoked, which made for good content, like other examples which had worked out in the past, she was also unpredictable, using the system that H3 Podcast had set up against them.
Should we make up or are we hating?
I'm literally over it. I'm so over it. I
Really?
don't care if
I'm
Moses
not.
breaks up with me over this. Bye.
Why would Moses break up over a podcast?
Because I don't like his family. And I don't like hanging out with you guys. And you guys are awful. And that's it. I mean, yeah, I said it.
God, I almost
But you liked me when we started.
No, I was trying to be nice and fun, but I actually don't really care that much for you.
Really? You never liked me?
Nope.
I feel that you're really upset now.
Good. Especially since Trisha had been dating Moses, she had a view into Ethan's personal life and ammunition she could use against him. When Ethan directs the heat at her, tries to embarrass her or make her look crazy to garner a reaction, she's able to fire back at him in a way that other guests weren't able to easily do. But oftentimes, when Trisha would storm off in a podcast episode, the internet attributed this to her diagnosed BPD, or borderline personality disorder. Either behind the scenes or on camera with the assistance of Dr. Drew, the two would make up and they would resume making the Frenemies episodes. Then another situation would occur. During another episode, when Trisha said that they should have Hila on as a podcast guest, Ethan said, seemingly out of the blue, that she's not allowed to mention Hila anymore, which seemingly would be uncomfortable and upsetting, considering Trisha was dating Hila's brother at the time.
What triggered you again? What were we talking about?
Hila being too good for me to talk about on this podcast. I don't even mention her. And she's a queen. Like, don't even mention me on the podcast.
Right, that's
Even though
why.
I'm a literal podcaster.
We had a full meltdown while you were gone.
Expect another text from your sister. We were talked about. They never once insulted me at
I
the
said
beginning
it's
of
a
spring. She has a podcast. I brought life to the H3 channel, but Hila's too good to even mention her name. I said nothing bad. I said like, oh, whichever as a guest or whatever. Like, I don't even mention Hila. She doesn't want to be talked about. I think we should end it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's such a bitch.
She's not.
And you are too. And you're
After the podcast episode, Trisha made a few follow-up videos. Her main point was that Ethan intentionally does things to push her over the edge.
I put up with Ethan purposely triggering me, trying to trigger me on multiple occasions. He likes having that thumbnail of me leaving, right? That's the meme. Even up until the last one, I said, I don't want to walk off. I don't want to end the show because the meme was you sitting alone and I walked off. You see Trisha leaving, whatever. And even up until the last one, they didn't cut. After we ended the show, they cut the second after when I walked off. I always put up with the triggers and I allowed myself to be triggered. and this is beyond, this is not walking on eggshells. It's like, oh, I say one wrong thing. No, this is times where I'm like, don't share the private messages from episode 1, where he shared messages I sent to him, where he shared Moses' private messages, and we asked him on the show not to. Like, there's just not respecting boundaries. I don't know boundaries well, and I try to set them as best as I can, but that wasn't.
Oh, that's so BS. I don't know boundaries very well, but I try to set them as best as I can. Come on, Trisha. You literally use your kids for content. Let's stop with that.
And like, it's constantly saying no, and pushing.
Again, Dr. Drew was brought onto the podcast to repair the relationship.
So here's where the problem comes in. Trisha comes on the show and she frequently repeats stuff that Moses tells her. So let me just finish my point, then you can respond. So for example, Trisha will say, and you did say in that episode, Moses doesn't even like you guys anyway. You guys wouldn't be invited to our wedding, or you guys aren't close with Moses. She always says stuff like that I feel like is driving a wedge between Moses and his family.
Okay, so Trisha,
and by the way, and then there's more. There's more because
I don't need more.
There is more. This is important.
Break it down for this part and then have him reply to what you said.
There's one more piece that I think is important.
Right,
when Ela asks Moses about it, Moses says, "I didn't say that."
That's actually not important. But
okay, it's not important.
Relax.
The format of Frenemies seemed to work best when the two co-hosts shared a common enemy. They would both be friends when they were sharing an enemy, but when their conversations diverted into personal topics, the host quickly derailed into personal attacks. On June
Wow, Cruel World, Happy Mind. You figured out the premise of Frenemies. Good for you. Good for you. It's just been what, freaking almost a half hour of you talking about this freaking podcast, and you've barely found out what the whole podcast was about. Amazing.
8th of 2021, the podcast aired its 39th episode. Immediately, the energy in the podcast episode seemed off and went further off the rails from there. Ethan seemed disinterested in the topics that Trisha wanted to discuss, distracted by the pizza in front of him. Trisha called a bit centered around answering audience questions as stupid and lazy. Ethan responded, "A lazy podcast? You don't do anything for it. You just show up. We do all the work." And the two got into an argument over Frenemies' creative direction and finances.
Like the fact that you just talk about what you talked about the week prior.
Sometimes I forget what I've talked about, honestly.
But you're saying you have all this crew that does all this work for you, and nobody could remember that you talked about that 2 days prior?
I agree. Somebody should have said something. But I feel like you're so angry about this.
I'm literally not, but it's so funny. I'm not. I'm angry when you say something.
You need to admit when you're angry.
I don't get input on like people we hire, like all this stuff. Like I don't get
people we hire. Why would I ask you about people I hire?
Because it's Frenemies and you take the budget for paying for the crew. That's what you told me. You take highlights, you take 5% to pay the crew. I just want everything to be a lot more transparent because I'm like, what are the production costs?
I can't be more transparent.
Can you show me all the costs of production?
It's not like an itemized thing. We are doing the show.
Trish receives a 45% cut of the show, while Ethan Klein receives an extra 5% that goes towards production costs. Now,
I mean, he's literally the one running it. He has an entire freaking production team. He's like, she shows up. There's nothing wrong with that split.
First off, if the show is incredibly successful, and all you're doing is paying your employees a base salary, putting up a fabric backdrop, a basic table and mics, you know, that 5% can get pretty chunky if your podcast is getting tens of millions of views. Incredible success.
He's the one who has these people working for him. He's the one who has the building that they're filming in. He's the one buying the equipment. He's the one doing everything. Trisha literally just shows up. That's it. I mean, like, I'm sorry, I didn't watch like every single Frenemies video. Did she buy equipment? Did she find a studio for them to work out of? Did she like hire graphic designers and stuff? I'm sorry, like, I don't remember that being a part of Frenemies. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did happen that way. I don't know, but something tells me it didn't. Something tells me all she did is is show up. How hard is that?
Success. That 5% can really numerically change quite a bit. Do your employees get a raise because of that 5% production cost? Are you investing a ton into production costs, or are you taking whatever isn't allocated to employees to the set for yourself? While to the public, 5% can feel silly to argue about, like a very small number, especially if Ethan's argument was that 5% was for production and the staff, which makes Trisha appear like she didn't care about H3 employees. I could also see why Trisha may start to feel like she was getting undercut when it came to Frenemies. Literally half the name, image, thumbnails, everything having to do with Frenemies had Trisha's face on it, her image, her brand, and the whole podcast gave the H3 podcast a huge boost in viewership, likely not only to the Frenemies podcast videos, but across the H3 podcast channel, from new viewers who found out about the channel through the Frenemies podcast and became fans and decided to subscribe. I mean, think of the long-term upside, the amount gained beyond just the revenue made on the videos itself, when it comes to viewership across all videos, subscribers, audience members, and a fan base that Trisha never reaped the benefits from, because all of this was not done on Trisha's YouTube channel. Again, this used Trisha's name, her image, even her mental health issues in a podcast for viewership, then cut 45.
And they use the same thing for him. You're trying to make her a victim. Trisha Paytas isn't a victim of, she's literally a victim of her own self.